Okay, scoreheads, we're back after a brief hiatus with a composer I was eager to talk to about his score to this year's emotional zombie thriller We Bury the Dead, and other subjects like the confinements of film structure on scoring and some of the notable scores of 2025, among other digressions. Chris Clark, who records and performs under his surname, is my guest this time, and he's one of my favorite kinds of composers because of his range that can reach places that feel unfamiliar through manipulation of familiar instruments. In these passages, my soul stirs briefly before rousing. I had explored these passages on a few of Clark's records before his natural migration into scoring, which has found his music in projects like the UK TV shows Kiri, The Last Panthers, and Relic, as well as the Apple TV adaptation of Stephen King's Lissy story, and films like Daniel Isn't Real and In Camera. The ability of Clark's music, where force often meets decay, to heighten perception of the physical world around us makes him a natural candidate for writing music for film. Anyone who has listened in before knows how geeked I get when a recording artist I like enters the scoring ring. This case is no different. Here is the Clark Chat. I was going back to our interview a few years ago about, we were talking about Lissy's story, but not just Lissy's story, just kind of a lot of interesting things. You really had some very illuminating answers in that piece. You said there's a discussion taking place between all of my works, regardless of whether they are solo albums or soundtracks for film. I really love that idea, that there is that kind of, some composers will say, yeah, when I go into a film, I turn off my own kind of like creative impetus,
right,
and direction that I would naturally instinctively take. But it sounds like you always have both on, and you're kind of trying to balance that, right?
I can understand why a composer would say that. It is a different mindset to studio work, but I don't feel like music should be always completely noticeable on film. So so then I guess I get really into, kind of get more into sound design, but it connects to my studio work because I'm always recording, and a big part of what I do is just like collecting Foley and customizing my own sort of libraries. And also a big part of what I do is I just play piano and like study harmony every day and work my way through different composers, and in some ways that connects to my film work more than it definitely connects to my most recent studio output, which is like full-on intense electronic music. It's this constant battle with me where I'm just not sure. Like when I play the piano, I just modulate key all the time, and I play like massive 8-note chords, and it's just very intuitive because the technology of the piano invites that. I mean, that's what it was invented to do, and that connects to composing. When you plug in a Moog, it's not really the cultural heritage of it is completely different. It's like disco, music concrete, hip hop, funk. I just don't know if it's built to be a composer's machine in the same way. This is a long way of saying that. I mean, every day I do both. I play piano and then I make intense electronic music. So in that sense, it's a discussion, but it's a bit of an antagonistic one sometimes, because they're to the listener, it can seem quite schizophrenic. But I've done it for so long now that it feels pretty natural to me, and I don't think I could have one without the other. So really, film music, it just gives me a chance to kind of flex that muscle, and I love it for that. And especially Lizzie's story, I kind of treated it like just like a chance to really dive into some luscious harmony that I wouldn't really explore on an electronic record. It just doesn't make sense stylistically to me as much. But saying that, I think film music is in a bit of a weird spot in terms of how.
Please tell me what you mean by this. I'm very excited to hear this.
It's just the same. It's just the same diatonic drone chords, tension, underscore, and the problem is that it works, and that it's not that it doesn't work, and that's almost the problem.
Right.
And like I was saying, I'm part of this, because earlier I was saying, sometimes you don't want to draw too much attention to the music, but I feel conflicted about that, because scores used to be really exciting. There used to be loads of key changes and orchestration. Like, it's funny that I was talking about The Omen. I rewatched that recently. I can't remember the composer, but it's an insane score. It's absolutely insane. I
think it's Goldsmith.
Yes, it's Goldsmith. Yeah. And I was watching it, and like I was saying to my wife, that 10 seconds there, that probably cost like $12,000 just for those 4 bars.
Really? Like, why? Just because
it's just something that you do once you've just composed for film and you've seen how the sausage is made. You just look at it, you just evaluate everything economically. You're like, right, that was expensive. That bit was a Spitfire sample library. That bit was,
If there are these kind of boundaries that film imposes on experimental music, in the sense that certain scenes call for certain types of cues, and you can't veer too much from that. In that sense, where do you think there's room for expansion and growth, and whether it be technological or thematic or whatever?
I think no more minor triads would be good.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really hard to make a generalization, because it's like, in my fantasy world, film should do this. I'm not a director, but in each film just it should be the case that each film calls for something completely unique to that film. And it may well be that those things converge on simplicity and music not self-consciously drawing attention to its quirky, sort of rule-breaking enigma. Mm-hmm. It's walking the line between those two things, I think.
Yeah, I mean, you do need directors that are going to want to take chances. I mean, the one, and there's more examples. But the one that really comes to mind of recent time is All's Quiet on the Western Front, the Volker Bertelmann.
Oh, I haven't seen
score.
I haven't seen that, actually. Well, yeah, I need to watch that.
Do you know Volker at all?
Is that Hauschka?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard of him. Yeah, he does like a lot of prepared piano stuff. Yeah, I've heard it's good. I need to see that.
Check that out, because it's a really different take on war music, what we traditionally know as wartime music. That movie does explore kind of what happens in between and in the aftermath of battle. Yeah. And so there is more of a kind of an area there where you can maybe explore and experiment. But that music is so different from traditional war music that it's refreshing. I mean, I want to say I think he won the best score.
Yeah, he did, I think. Yeah.
So
yeah.
that it just does, and it does call for directors to say, let's take a chance here. Let's do something.
I think it's a partnership really between the composer and the director. I mean, I feel like that would be that would just be my ideal director, and that I kind of had that with Nakash on In Camera, but there wasn't much. Oh, and also Yorgos. I saw his recent film. What was it called?
Begonia.
Yeah, that's the score for that was amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, everybody seems to really love that score.
I really enjoyed the film as well. But that's just a case of a really capable imaginative composer and a really capable imaginative director meeting.
Sure.
You know.
Yeah.
And that's what we want more of.
Yeah, that score I believe is nominated this year.
Right.
The one for
it didn't
Begonia.
surprise me. Yeah.
I thought 2 scores were overlooked in the Oscar nominations. One of them being the Oneotrix Point Never Daniel Lopatin score for Marty Supreme. It was another example because this film is set in the 50s, but it's using score palette and also weaving in pop music of the 80s into the score in some ways and letting the score kind of bounce off of those source. Like Forever Young was a big one.
Oh, yeah.
Forever Young.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's like a really interesting use of that source piece. The cues start to kind of fall off of, if I'm remembering correctly. So that's kind of taking it into a place where we were kind of lamenting that it's not able to go.
Yeah.
A lot of people love that score, didn't get recognized. Another one that I thought was really, you might, do you know Canding Ray?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, vaguely. Yeah. What was the film?
He did the score for Surat.
You know what? You can't get that in the UK. I've been trying to download
Is that
it.
right?
Yeah, I've been trying to. It's just not available, and I've heard so many good things about it. And I do want to see that. It's like a electronic sort of rave horror set in the desert. Yeah,
absolutely. So like, it goes between kind of like that pumping, momentous rave music kind of cue that you would find in like a desert rave, like Burning Man or something like that. But then also just because it is, I didn't see the movie. I'm a little bit scared, honestly, given what I've heard about it. There's some very troubling.
It's just so, I really want to see it, and it's honestly quite good to have that feeling of anticipation. Yeah, because I'm looking now. It's not available yet.
That's weird. Yeah.
But it's be a good one for the cinema as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think I might fight through my ambivalence or reluctance because of my own kind of weak knees in certain situations. But I am very interested in hearing how the electronic music of that enhances the moments. But I was listening to the score itself without having seen the movie, and you do have that kind of dialogue between those rave type cues and these, because it's a road trip movie as well. It's about a family, a father going to find his daughter, who's gone missing in this kind of desert rave community. And there are these kind of very long, drawn out, as I described before, vapor trail type cues in between where they're traveling, and you're getting, vast desert scope scenes and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that is such a wonderful territory for electronic music to breathe and go in and out between those two polarities. Seems
sure.
to me that you would really.
Yeah, I'm kind of annoyed that I didn't do it, thinking about it now, but yeah. Trying to think of a film. Have you seen the film Raw, the French film, Julia Darcanel? That's really, but that's just an amazing. She's someone that just uses amazing pieces of music. There's like a few French bands I've discovered through her work.
What's her name again?
Julia Darcanel. She did this. It's very dark. It's a film about cannibals. It's called Raw,
Oh, nice.
but it's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought the music I liked the score for One Battle After Another. I thought that was good.
Yeah.
You
didn't mind the incessant.
That wasn't that wasn't my favorite cue, I have to admit.
Right.
I just really like his guitar. I like it when it just kind of sticks to guitar and beautiful melodies, simple, effortless.
Yeah.
Really, really nice.
Yeah.
Like, why didn't I think of that kind of thing? Just
Right.
just in the simplicity of them in a way.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I did like that score too. I particularly the opening scene where Perfidia Beverly Hills is kind of going over the highway ramp, looking over the detention camp.
Yeah.
And that opening cue just, I don't know. It was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Here we go. This is fucking Paul Thomas Anderson.
Yeah.
And Leonardo DiCaprio and Johnny Greenwood. And I am here for it. And it's just, it just, I agree.
I might have been in the cinema, but they'd really slammed it. They'd slammed the compression on those strings, and I was like, "Fuck, what happened there?" But it's a great piece of music, nevertheless. It might have been the effect they were going for.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the perils of it. It's like I can't fully enjoy film now because I'm always analysing. I can't turn my analysing brain off. It's like,
that's got to be annoying, right?
It's annoying for my wife, yeah, because I'm just like, if I'm not into the music, then I kind of can't watch a film. If a cue annoys me, I just turn it. I will turn the film off, and the film might be good, but I cannot watch it. I just can't hear music I don't like. It's insanely neurotic. It's not good, but it's just who I am. It's just like, I'm very hypersensitive to, like, I feel like my day has been ruined if I hear something that I didn't need to hear and I don't like it. It's like my day's over.
So like, will you walk out of a film then if you don't like the music?
No,
like,
because I'm like a polite British guy.
Yeah.
I'll just passive aggressively just stew about it.
Right. In zombie films, or really any film that presents a sort of substantial threat to the characters on a massive scale, I find that I really appreciate the moments in between the action.
Yeah.
more so than the action sequences, because really I feel that you are sort of bound to a certain kind of music that only seems to work in those occasions.
Yeah.
And you kind of have to stick to that. You're almost like, I'm going to do my own variation of this very kind of like, you know, amped up, ramped up kind of like everything is kind of collapsing on itself, and you're going full throttle into the music to kind of to emphasize that fear and danger.
Yeah. The form is completely constricted, but the content can be anything. And as soon as you identify that, like I mean, it just has to have jump scares at some point. But what you use to make the jump scares can be literally anything. And that's where my kind of like recordist, obsessed with collecting my own libraries, and that's where that's just really, it's just always been enjoyable for me since I was like 16. That's what I've done. So that's my wheelhouse. But you just have to respect that the form is constricted, and that's fine. It's you know, it's enjoyable. But it's like, and then you get into this funny zone where you realize how niche that genre is, and how there are, when you get for like with Zach, we were so forensic on one cue with it's like the zombie bus cue.
Oh yeah, that's the one I was thinking of. Yeah.
And there was so many versions of that, and it was like, how much do we speed up here? How many hits? And then we were just agonizing over it. And I think in the end, this is kind of what I mean, in the sense that in some ways everything's kind of in discussion with everything else, in that you always get to this point where there are incredibly tight margins at the end, and it's that extra 5%. It's the same on studio records. And like, I can make a cue in half an hour, and or 4 hours, or however long. It feels quick to get the foundation down, but then we were just agonizing about how many jump scares to have, and that can take like weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like 2 seconds of silence, essentially. Just like deciding when to have 2 seconds of silence can take weeks of notes going back and forth, and that's just film music. But it's the same with studio records. It's like those final mixes just seem to take ages. They don't take that long, but it's the intensity of the kind of cognitive overload of it. I think it's also because it's the pressure of finishing, having to actually present it. You're like quite stressful.
Again, in this particular case, you know, I soak in the moments in between the confrontation with Demise, basically. And,
right. Yeah.
And I like that the score is almost like coaxing the imagery and the internal, whatever's internally going on in the character, shown in the facial expression and not so much in dialogue, and just shown in behavior. That area, especially with your ambient kind of expansive vapor trail music, really works for me. It's almost tempting you to be vulnerable and let your guard down, so that when that kind of big moment or those scary moments come, you're kind of perk back up.
They're the bits that I like. The cue where where she meets the undead guy, and he's burying his family. It's like a really sad piece of music, And
It's very striking scene.
It's very beautiful, and it's like really, it's demise. It's as much demise as you can get, and that piece happened really, really quickly. Mm-hmm. And I was just getting goosebumps when I was watching it, and that's just the best ever. You just kind of think, well, if I'm getting this, then and if the director really likes it, and it must be doing something that is going to translate. Absolutely. And that's really rewarding.
Whatever you thought was working that way works in that way. I mean, I had the exact same response to it. There's no dialogue. It's just this sad guy burying his family and basically just saying, take me with him. And and the power, I just think Daisy Ridley's expressions in this film said more than anything she could have actually explicitly said.
Yeah.
And her kind of back and forth between that poor fellow and, empathizing, obviously, with her own loss. It was just very moving. It was one of those parts of the movie that just kind of really jumped out and landed. And I think your cue did so much for that. Because really the music there is doing, I feel like, at least half of the work.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes music needs to, and it's always a pleasure when it's not covering up, it's enhancing rather than sort of smudging. And I don't think there's any of that in this film, but because there's not that much, there was a lot of cues we just took out because it didn't need music. And I love directors that have got that attitude. They don't want to just cram everything full of music. And sometimes I was in the strange position where I was actually fighting for music in some of it, and I've never been in that position before. It's always been me that's sort of saying, well, maybe we don't need something here. But yeah, I was like, really? Oh, you just want to get rid of my music? Okay. But it was the right decision because, like you say, the space is the thing. Letting it breathe.
Yeah. Letting it breathe. There are interesting choices directors are making. Another zombie movie example, 28 years later.
Yeah, that was good, yeah.
So that's a Young Fathers score.
Yeah,
Scottish
good.
Band.
Yeah, really good.
And so that is a little bit more like, Danny Boyle's like, all right, let's turn this on its ear a little bit, Yeah,
it's great.
And so it is encouraging that
he's always used he used a Mugwai song in the first 28 days later. Yeah.
Or was it Mogwai or another one of those wordless post-rock bands
Godspeed.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was Godspeed.
All right, okay.
In the first one, right?
Yeah.
28,
Yeah, maybe it was.
Boyle's music always is, whether it's source or score, he's always, doing things, making choices that I appreciate. I guess this is all to say that I'm looking forward to more opportunities for electronic recording artists to have moments or opportunities in film. And
have you seen the film Lurker?
No.
Oh, that was like my favorite film of last year, I think.
Really?
You've got to watch it. Yeah, it's American. It's kind of almost about this like weekend type guy and this sort of parasitic social climber that gets in with him, and it's like a very dark comedy, but because he's a singer in it. I think I can't remember the composer, but it's a mixture of score and songs that have ostensibly been written by the lead character. So it's like it's really good. Lurker. Yeah. It really stuck with me. It's really good.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna check that out. I've gotten a couple of.
It's not a horror. Don't worry. It's not too brutal, but it's
right.
It's quite dark and
quite
funny.
Dark. Quite dark is always fine with me. Some of the subject matter and the way apparently it was executed so well in Surat makes me a little like, oh God, I don't know if I want to watch that. But
I know what you mean.
But no, I don't mind darkness at all. I live in darkness all the time.
Yeah.
I was listening to I finished watching the film and I kind of like took a moment and, the credits were still running and I went into my bedroom and kind of laid down for a minute and the music was still playing from the credits. I was like, you know what? If end credit music is like as good as this, because it must have gone on for however long the credits went on, which were 5 minutes, right? 7 minutes, something like that. Man, I was like,
oh, that's nice.
I just want this. I just want to have this, to listen to. I was really like, I was sort of hovering in darkness in my bedroom, listening to the end credit music, which I feel like needs to be, re-examined because if, maybe everybody should be listening to the end credit music.
Could be the intro.
In this kind of way.
If it was the intro, then people would have to see it, right?
Yeah, that's right. But I would imagine a lot of people switch out of it, right?
Yeah, probably. Yeah,
picture's over. Was that just kind of like were those cues in the film, or was it just you?
No, I think it was a variation of one of the scenes, and then just like extended for the credits.
Yeah,
it was definitely
beautiful.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, we wanted to end it on something you could kind of drift in and out of that still held your attention. Yeah.
And your last couple records have not explored this territory. More very kind of percussive, rhythmic, very...
I'm in that zone,
almost like you're exploring how sound and rhythm coexist in your own way more in these last couple of records. But I have always really appreciated the kind of... you get into this... the recording artist Burial.
Oh, yeah. Of course, yeah.
That's sort of what you're hitting on in We Bury the Dead. Some of that very haunting, spooky vocals that are going in and out of...
Possibly, yeah. Like my favorite record of his is the beatless one, Anti-Dawn, which is a bit of a... I think that's quite a difficult record for some people because there's no... It's so singular and it's like, it's just... it could be a soundtrack. It's like he just built this world. And it almost feels like music for when you're sick of music because it doesn't really give you anything to hang to. In the same way that if you watched a film, there's just space between the pieces and often cues come and go within 30 seconds. And this record very much does that. It's like he's kind of built failure into it. Like failure is part of the aesthetic. It's like got this exhausted... It's like exhausted music for when you don't really want music anymore. You're just sick of it, but it's kind of comforting. It's a brilliant record, Anti-Dawn. But yeah, I think there's room for that. I think at the moment I'm just obsessed with, like you say, with very intense electronic music again, and it's almost actually, it's like my new stuff is almost the opposite of that. It's like everything is just maximal. Like not really any intros to tracks, just like straight in,
yeah,
which I really love.
I wanna call out a couple Globe Core Flats.
Yeah.
What a track that is. And also
Thanks.
Impatience Day Out.
Yeah.
Also, yeah.
Yeah.
Really feeling those.
Well, they took, like I was saying with, this is where it's all in parallel with the Zombie bus queue in We Bury the Dead and Globe Core Flats. Like, finished it in about a week and then spent like 3 months agonizing over tiny details, and a lot of it actually just comes down to making the decision to not have just to go straight into it. It's almost like making something concise and as short as it can be takes a lot of work, and to make long music is quite simple in a way. I just never want to waste people's time, and so that's not necessarily a good, like the Anti-Dawn is a record that sort of deliberately wastes your time because it's just like a patchwork of intros and outros, but that's what's brilliant about it. But personally, when we're writing electronic music, I just like it to be really condensed. Just probably something to do with ADHD and just generally being quite impatient.
Yeah.
With my own music, I mean.
Do some of your electronic cues or pieces of music in general start with
strings
an idea
and then go? Yeah.
So that's a regular thing for you.
Yeah.
Then,
Oh yeah.
right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Did that emerge in this film in some way? That.
Yeah, it did actually. Yeah, I recorded quite a lot of me playing the viola, and then my friend Raki, she's an amazing violinist, and mainly as there are a few compositions, but in the end I just took certain lines from it that worked well over electronics, and I don't think you can even tell it's viola or violin. Sometimes it's subtle, but it's there, and I don't have a hard cut boundary between this is an electronic sound and now we're in the acoustic realm. I've never really had that. I don't find it that useful because I quite often end up finding my synths sound somewhat like pianos or strings, and then I'm quite I don't know. It's all just material, really.
Yeah. Well, in your film scores, and particularly in this film, something that really works in any context for me is this feeling of expansive space that the music stimulates somehow. And I imagine that you're achieving this quite a bit through layering. And and
you know what though, I don't really have a template that I go to for each new piece of music. Each new piece of music kind of has a different, like I don't really set things out in a procedural way like that. But with We Bury the Dead, it was really layered. And some of my studio tracks are like 200 tracks of audio, and it's actually driving me kind of. It's too much actually, but it's not all like that. There's some pieces that are just like three things, and more I'm actually really enjoying the things that are just three things, and it's in no way easier because everything's so exposed that each element needs to be completely correct. But layering does, I think it's also this thing of mix engineers love having loads of layers, but quite often with We Bury the Dead, a lot of it there'd be like 50 tracks and we'd only use 7 of them in the mix. But it's just great to, I do also really love it. I love really multi-layered music as well, but you just have to keep in mind that it can get a bit intense.
Yeah.
and quite often it's the art of stripping it down to a few things, and especially when you're going for like high intensity jump scares, there's this sense of like, yeah, we just need more, we just need more layers, but in the end you quite often just end up stripping it down to one element and making sure it's mixed right. But I still think that process of making loads of stuff and then making a brutal edit, it's great. It's because if you didn't make all the layers, you'd never know, and you wouldn't have gone on that journey of exploration. And it's the journey of making all of it and seeing what works. That's the enjoyable part.
Yeah, that's a great way to look at it.
It's like that's why I make so many revisions of my tracks, because you just have all of these unanswered questions, and then when you arrive on the specific singular cue, the definitive version, it's much more satisfying because you've got more confidence because you've sort of explored it.
I love that. It's almost like the format of film is putting you in a position to do that.
Yeah, exactly.
More,
yeah,
right.
That's exactly it. That's the mindset of it, and I think that's what I was trying to say at the beginning, but I've only realised it now at the start of the interview. It's just taken me about 15 years to get accustomed to the psychology of it, and it's never wasted work, because if you think about it like, oh, well, I've done all of this work, and that's just not the right way to see it. It all should be enjoyable and worthy of exploration.
Yeah. I like because that can inform, it might not inform the particular piece of music you're working on, but it might inform an attitude that you have towards production that manifests itself in another way.
I think just getting used to being prolific. I mean, I've never had a problem with that. I've it's almost the opposite problem. So in some ways, it's perfect that on a film you do just get to write all the time, and and then I guess it's just the crunchy thing on film is just the time frame of you don't want to be a hack either. You don't just want to be churning it out. It has to be meaningful work. But so it's as long as it's built into the time frame of scoring, you've got time to reflect. You're not making rash decisions, or you can make the rash decisions and then delete them. Right.
But you're forced to make decisions, right? Like that's the thing, and you can't just be like, I'll revisit that when I feel
exactly.
Like it.
Exactly.
Something that it makes me think of something that one of my favorite directors said about movies. David Fincher said, "A film is never finished; it's abandoned."
Yeah, that's absolutely it. Yeah.
I always thought that was a really cool way to look at it. He has this very cynical way of looking at it.
That's how I feel about. Yeah, I mean, I never, even if I've finished an album and at the back of my mind I think it's like some of my best work, it quite often is on the day of submitting it, it's just like get rid of it. Just I don't feel great about it. I'm just like, I because I've heard abandoned is a good way of it's like you're wiping your hands clean. It's like giving up a child for adoption. You're just like, sorry, I have to let you go now.
Yeah. It sounds like you're always kind of trying to reconcile that inner conflict with yourself.
Kind of, and I don't know. Yeah, I'm also just like never really that happy with anything.
With anything?
No, I mean, it's like I'm obviously happy enough for it to come out, but it's always this. There's just always more to do, you know.
Always, yeah.
It keeps you hungry. But I think there's also this very strange thing with music and film where the directors have lived with the material for so long and they've seen it so many times. It would kind of be insane to still really love it in the same way that you did when you first, those initial sparks. That's the moment you kind of bottle and capture and reflect on as, it's almost like that's the thing you do it for, really, and then finishing it is
a necessity.
It's almost unnatural. Like if I release a piece of music, I will have listened to it probably over 1,000 times, and often I don't really work on it. I just listen just to kind of scrutinize it again and again from every possible. So, and I envy people that just listen to music for fun and don't have that.
Right.
I actually really miss that.
Yeah.
I can't actually remember what it's like.
Are you talking about in terms of your own stuff or just everything?
I mean, film to an extent as well. Film's a bit different. I do still enjoy film, but yeah, I don't know.
You're hyper. You gotta figure out how to bypass the hyper analytical. Yeah. Well, it sounds like you're at least, you know.
I do enjoy it. I do. It's not. Yeah, I enjoy it. I mean, yeah. I'm kind of being a bit melodramatic I'm hamming it up a bit, but yeah.
Maybe let's finish with this. Just kind of like where you hope to go, what opportunities you would like in film and television, or where you think the medium itself can go in the future, what you're hoping to get out of it, opportunities for yourself, and in general, what you hope for the medium going forward, like
I think
based on everything we just discussed about electronic, orchestra, long form, short form, I
think ideally I would like a kind of, just like a real sea change from sort of Netflix wall to wall underscore is just not my bag at all. Yeah. And so any project that recognizes that music in film can be more than that, and that there's scope to kind of raise the bar a bit, and like it shouldn't be the case that, and I think it's an amazing score, but like Under the Skin and Johnny Greenwood, I think they're both great, but it shouldn't be the case that there are only like, a handful of composers that are seen as the people that do interesting composition, because there are a lot of other people that are capable, and I'm sure there are directors that are also capable of recognizing that the craft of it can be elevated, and it doesn't have to be so cautious. So it's directors that just want to push it a bit, I guess, and maybe that puts a cap on commercial success, but that's not the most important thing to me at all. It's more about just like making something you're really proud of and is quite unique.
Yeah.
I'll just say one thing though, positively.
Yeah.
Because I saw you interviewed Dave Porter, and I know he's like an obvious choice. Mm-hmm. Well, Breaking Bad is like, it's kind of an obvious. It's one of the biggest TV shows ever. But the score for that I love the score for that show, and I don't think I wouldn't listen to it as an album, but it's so sort of subtly unique and great in that, and his harmony and his sound design, I think he uses a lot of, I think he records it all himself. It's just so fantastic. And so there are these like unicorn projects where you get this marriage of unique and brilliant and also commercially like a complete success. It's just incredible to see that.
Yeah. Have you listened to, or have you seen the new?
Yeah,
the
it's
new
good
show?
as well. Yeah.
And that's a very different.
Yeah, very.
score,
It's
so,
more orchestral,
yeah.
but interesting compositions.
Vocal,
yeah.
orchestral.
Yeah.
That's what I love about this whole thing is getting to investigate kind of how my appreciation for a recording artist, or even what a score composer is known more for,
Yeah.
is given an opportunity to just kind of, oh, you didn't know I had this in my bag, you know? And these,
Well, exactly. Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's, I feel that with your stuff quite a bit.
Yeah.
Actually, you know?
Finally, the piano practice will pay off someday.
Yeah.